Here are 8 black child celebrities who have landed themselves in controversy, beginning with Chris Brown, who has one of the more talked about controversies. Brown, as a child, had a love for dancing and singing. At 15, he signed his first multi-million-dollar contract and released his first album. However, he involved himself in legal troubles throughout the years. In 2009, Brown had an argument with his ex-girlfriend Rihanna, which led him to assault her. As reported, Rihanna was left with visible facial injuries and was hospitalized. He later pleaded guilty on June 22nd of that year and had to do community labor with 5 years of probation. A year later, Brown posted a tweet saying, "I have enough self-respect and decency to be proud of accomplishing this DV class. Boys runs from their mistakes. Men learn from them." A few years down the line, he again lost his temper after being interviewed about his case of assault. He threw a chair at a window and argued with several members of the production staff. In the same year, he violated the restraining order after attending a party where Rihanna was also present. A year later, he voluntarily entered a rehabilitation center, only to be kicked out for violent behavior. In 2014, information about Brown was made public. He has been diagnosed with bipolar disorder and post-traumatic stress disorder by doctors while in rehab. Recently, he has also been charged with drugging and sexually assaulting a woman in Miami, illegally owning a restricted species, and physical violence. As the years go by after his success, he is still doing a damage to his career. Even though this is bad, Jaden Smith, the son of Will Smith, is just as interesting. Jaden Smith is a multi-talented kid, with his most popular movie being The Karate Kid, which earned $359 million on a $40 million budget. Despite his booming career, he became a laughingstock rather than a Hollywood star because of his social media personality. A clear problem in his life was Jaden being homeschooled, which made him more isolated. Not to mention, people only saw him as Will's son and not as his person, which must have been very hard on him. To combat this, Will and Jaden both played lead roles in the movie After Earth, and let's just say people did not like it, which caused even more strain on their relationship. He decided to take a break from acting and focused more on his music, but did go back to acting later in the years. He took part in the series The Get Down, which was canceled after 2 seasons due to the low ratings and production delays and cost. So why did Hollywood reject Jaden Smith despite his father's influence? One of the reasons is that when The Karate Kid was being filmed, some team members pointed out Jaden's terrible behavior. He constantly argued with his coworkers, yelled at them, and created havoc inside the makeup rooms. This is a result of his parents not interfering in disciplining him. Jaden's social media posts also reveal that he seemed to love himself too much, and although that might be completely okay, he frequently goes way too far. He once proclaimed that he was the future of the movie business, and that he and his sister make music since there is so little decent music in the world. Jaden likes to frequently shocks the media by making absurd statements. He compared himself to Galileo because he also said some revolutionary things in his time, and he described himself and his sister Willow Smith as scientists studying mankind. This proves that a good personality and attitude is a really big deal if you want to keep your career successful in any field. Moving on from Jaden, DJ Daniels. Parents would always emphasize that their children should not get involved with the wrong people. And for D, he makes a great example. This young star went from being a famous actor in the movie Sky High with a film gross of $86 million to getting arrested for first-degree murder and gang activity. He was a fan favorite and had been nominated 3 times for the Best Supporting Young Artist Award, but had never won. It seemed like everything was going smoothly with him becoming a child star. However, on the night of 2011, Daniels was involved in getting into a fight outside a bar together with his 2 friends. This ended with a man being stabbed to death and D being charged. As soon as he was arrested, the locals found out that he had been issued warrants for driving without a license and possession of drugs. His attorney claimed that D was unaware of the fight, let alone attempting to stab someone. He was 21 at that time, and his companions were flashing gang signs to make the crime scene seem like a rival gang activity, which is why that defense was rejected. During the 2012 jury trial, one of Daniels' character witnesses was D.L. Hewley, his father in The Hewleys. He stepped forward and vouched for Daniels. He pointed out the finer points of Daniels' life given that he was a former gang member himself, so he responded well to the questions of the counsel. Daniel was removed of murder charge along with his other co-defendant. It was determined that his friend was the one who stabbed the victim. Though it was proven that he was not the one who murdered someone, his career as an actor still got murdered. Our next celebrity has one of the most confusing cases there is, Gary Coleman. Coleman, best known in the sitcom Different Strokes as a Harlem child adopted by a wealthy widower. The police went to his house in response to a disturbance call, but no one filed a criminal charge against him. With this issue, another problem rose. The authorities found out that he had an outstanding arrest warrant relating to a domestic violence case. Without any record of who his alleged victim was, Coleman was on the verge of posting a bail of $1,725. He also had relationship problems. He met his now ex-wife Shannon on the set of the comedy film Church Ball and got married after 5 months. In an altercation, she had destroyed his bedroom. His wife kept screaming, "You deserve this after how you treated me." In 2008, they almost split up because she described him as distant and depressed. Later that year, he pleaded guilty to charges of ramming a fan with his truck outside a bowling alley. Until now, there is still no proven evidence on what really went wrong for the child celebrity, even after his death, due to falling down the stairs and having a stroke. Had our next star been given help, they wouldn't be on this list. Lee Thompson Young. Lee began his acting career on the Disney Channel. However, he died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound and had been taking drugs for his depression, but had no illicit substances in his body. The actor, who was already 29 at that time, was last heard at 2:30 p.m. on August 17th when he was speaking to a friend. He was discovered next to a couch on the 19th after pals asked authorities to conduct a welfare check when he failed to show up for work at a movie set. The autopsy report stated that Lee had a history of bipolar disorder and depression. At the time of his death, he was taking lithium and quetiapine fumarate. The weapon he used was a semi-automatic .40 caliber handgun that was registered. 9 shots remained in the rifle, and 1 spent round was found in the couch's bottom cushion. An unnamed witness told the officials that he had never made any prior attempts and that she was not aware of any financial issues. Hence, we should always check on our family and friends even if they are not showing any symptoms of this, for you might just be able to save a life. False accusations are serious, and Merlin Santana was a victim of one. Santana was a loved actor known for his roles in television comedies such as The Cosby Show and Major Dad, and his music career. In 2002, his life ended after a teenage girl, 17, with the help of 2 men, killed Santana. She lied to her accomplices that he and his other friend were sexually harassing her, thus leading the 3 to kill him shortly after he and his friend were about to leave. On January 26th, one of the killers, 25-year-old Brandon Douglas, entered a plea of guilty to the charges of voluntary manslaughter and assault with a deadly weapon. He received a 23-year prison term. Later, in February, 21-year-old Damian Andre was given a sentence of 70 years to life in jail after being found guilty of first-degree murder in the killing. The girl was sentenced to 8 years in juvenile prison. Even though this has been done, it can never bring back Merlin. Parents play a big role in a child's life, and Todd Bridges had parental problems. Todd was a very successful black child actor who even got recurring roles on the popular series The Waltons in 1972. However, his personal issues began to follow. Bridges was a victim of the alleged abuse when he was 11 years old, which fractured his relationship with his father and affected him later in life. His coping mechanism was drug addiction. In 1983, he was detained and fined for carrying a hidden weapon. His previous drug abuse reportedly continued. It got worse when Bridges was allegedly using and selling both cocaine and meth. Later, he was charged with robbery after imposing a threat on someone in 1987. Bridges was considered suicidal by the cop after being pulled over, and a judge ordered him to undergo a 90-day psychological study. He got clean and has been sober for over 2 decades now, but this could never bring back his former glory. Moving on to Jussie Smollett, a next-level actor. Smollett made his acting debut in The Mighty Ducks in 1991 when he was just a young child. In 2015, he acted as Jamal Lyon in the Fox drama series Empire. He was praised for being groundbreaking because it featured a positive representation of a black gay man on television. Later in the years, around 2 a.m., Smollett alleged that 2 masked individuals approached him as he was strolling through downtown Chicago. The attackers struck him in the face, sprayed what seemed to be bleach on him, looped a rope around his neck, and screamed racial and homophobic insults at him. Smollett, who at first got an outpouring of support and sympathy from the public after suffering injuries to his collarbone and ribs, and visited a hospital following the alleged attack. Authorities described the event as a probable hate crime. However, others continued to wonder if he had made the story up even at that point. Smollett was soon charged with felony disorderly conduct in 2019 for allegedly fabricating an attack after filing a fake police report. Smollett subsequently surrendered to the police. He was taken into custody after a judge set a $100,000 bond. He was later released. The case, however, was reopened. This went to court, and he pleaded guilty to a Class 4 felony, disorderly conduct, which carries a prison sentence of up to 3 years, but was sentenced to probation and community service. He repeatedly told the judge and those gathered in the courthouse that he was innocent. If you did enjoy this video, remember to like and subscribe. Have a great day.